Hello, beautiful people. How are you, my beautiful gems? How are you doing today? I'm excited to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, but I'm going to test out all of my um, things and make sure that we are definitely in the Facebook group because I surely don't want to be talking and then find out that it is not playing in my Facebook group because it could happen. That is just the bottom line. Anything could happen, right? It is Facebook. Because it could happen. And we are live. Okay. And so, with that being said, I'm really excited to be here today. I'm really excited to be tapped into this energy because this, of course, is one of my favorite subjects. It is all about human design. And that is what we are going to talk about today because I had a couple of requests, from people who really just wanted to know more about human design and the elements that are in their charts. And I love geeking out about it. So it's right down my alley to tap into this type of energy and figure and just give y'all a little overview of human design. I decided that I was going to try to pull some charts of some famous people. So that will be fun. And so we'll tap into a couple of people's charts and we'll look at them. I don't know. I'm crazy excited. So let me get my little self together and slow this thing on down because I know that there's a couple of people who English is their second language who will be watching this video. And so I want to make sure that I am super clear. Feel free to drop your human design type and profile. Let me know what kind of type and profile you are. I'd be more than happy to go even deeper into anybody's profile or type or splenic authority, not splenic authority, but authority. And I'm going to talk about splenic authority, but that ain't what we're talking about right now. I will be more than happy to go into that, but I'm going to do some screen sharing and I'm going to put the chart up and I'm going to point out the different elements within the chart so that you can see it really clearly for yourself. And I think you'll have a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy this demonstration. And so just in case you do not know who I am and you're new to this energy, I am Tanya Emanuel. I own Coaching 360, the Liberated Life Society. The Conscious Leader is one of my newer containers, and I will definitely tell you about that and share it later. If you love this, listen, tap in. I have a human design reading. It is 2 hours. It is an hour and a half for the first part of the reading, which I take you through your chart, but I really love to focus on people's mastery, their message, their mission, their purpose. I really like to look into the actual specific gates and the channels, which we will discuss, which really tells us a lot about how you are designed, how you are here to create and manifest in the world. And so let me turn my phone down because I don't want there to be an echo in the back of that. So if you are interested in that, once we are done with this, and I do think it's important that you have some sort of foundational understanding about human design before you even bother tapping into the level that I want to dig into, because the basic stuff you can get, the basic stuff I'm going to explain here, helping you understand just your authority, your type, your not self thing, understanding your strategy, your profile lines, the centers, understanding the energy and how energy works. And we're going to do that all here. So you need to have a basic understanding, but in order for me to really have you have the best outcome for any type of container that I do, because I am not a generic person. I really like to get to the real juicy meat and potatoes of what it is that is making people flow, making you flow, making your energy work, what is affecting you. Now, one of the things I do want to let you know that is so delicious about human design is this was created by Rahu Ra, and it was a download for him. And when we talk about downloads, it is like where you see in all your magic where things actually intersect, where things in life are like an aha moment. oh, this is how these things connect and work together. It's really kind of the experience that we're all really trying to have anyway. I'm trying to have that type of experience where I see where life really connects and life aligns. And that is what he had, was a download. Because I know I hear a lot of people talking about it. And when I thought about it, I'm like, what the hell is a download? What does that really mean? I mean, did you create? What does that mean? And so that is really what that means. He was intuitively guided to create this system. And the reason that he actually created it was so that you could use it for your children and you could actually have a better relationship with understanding how to connect with your kids. And that's really why he did all of this. It was really all about the children. So for me, I really feel like that kind of tapped into something for me, because for my human design type, I'm a nurturer. When you look into all of my gates, I'm a nurturer by heart, a caregiver coming out of my spleen. And it is one of my passions to nurture the collective. I also have the tribal circuitry coming through. And so I'm really about connection, community, nurturing. And in my experience with human design in the last 3 years, once I understood the dynamics and how many different flavors there were in human design, I became just really addicted to understanding myself first, and then understanding my children. And then from there, it kind of bloomed out into its own thing with understanding family, understanding anybody who let me do their human design, because I'm naturally curious. I have an open head and an open ajna, and we're going to talk about that too. So I hope that you have your human design chart. Please pull it out. If you do not have it, feel free to pause the video or very quickly go to the top of the link and look in the guides. You will see a link, and I will tell you it's an affiliate link because I use a specific software called Genetic Metrics. That this is what I like to use. And so for all of my readings, I tell my people to go there, because then the charts are also synced, because you can get your readings, your charts from several different places for free. There's no cost to download your own chart. There are plenty of excellent teachers out there. My foundational teachers is Karen Curry Parker, who does quantum human design. So you will hear me do a mix of quantum human design language, because I feel that it's a lot more easier to understand than what has been done by Rahu Ra. And if you want to, Rahu Ra and Linda Burnell have this amazing guide if you want to get into it and you really feel like you want to tap into this type of energy because it's for you, your business, or whatever. Hey, take what I have here, tap in. But as a manifesting generator, my whole job, I'm a time bender. I am here to collapse time. So I use this in my business because I find it to be an amazing foundational piece for people to really understand what they're here to do. And what I want you to understand when you're looking at the chart, the very first thing I want you to understand, because you probably have some general knowledge of what's going on with the chart, the very thing I want you to understand is that this is really almost like a permission slip. This is some things that you will know and some things that are subconscious, but if you really tap in, you will really understand how these things affect your life. To me, human design is really all about energy, about flow, about understanding who you are, and where a lot of what you have taken in is other people's energy. It can also be genetics or DNA. And so with human design, this is a system that is the Kabbalah, Eastern and Western astrology, the I Ching. It is quantum physics. It has a lot to do with your DNA, hence the I Ching, and the quadrants. This is all about your energy. And I really, really, really want you to understand that you do not need to understand everything about your chart. But if you're going to tap into a resource such as this, please don't just come in here and try to stuff a bunch of information and get a little bit here, a little bit there. Really try to lean in. really try to look at this thing and really use it. Use it for yourself first, embody it for yourself. And this is not just an overnight fix. This is not just, oh my God, now I know my human design type and I need to follow this thing. No, it's the human design chart is comprised of more than just your strategy, more than just your type, and more than just your profile line. If somebody is taking you at that generic level, they want you to start with what we call the experiment in your life. Our whole lives are experiments. We are here to taste life. We are here to taste other people's energy. We are here to experiment with life and to really enjoy it and to find the deliciousness that is within our life, within what we are trying to do here as a collective. And that is really what understanding your human design type is about, understanding your children, the people that you want to bring in your life, your lovers, your partners, friends, people that you work with. If you understood the way that you show up in the world and how your communication style is, how your energy type is, what you're here to do and what you're not here to do, you can really understand how to work in your business. You can understand how to work with your children. You can understand how you like to be communicated to. You can also see with human design, when we get into this, you're going to see some places inside where you are conditioned to be. And these are all the things that we're going to talk about today, because I really want you to have a real clear understanding of how to use this. But don't just look at it and not actually lean in. This is real work. And anybody that tells you that, you know, personal development and going to your next level, scaling your business, creating the love of your life, having a thriving family, is on the outside of you. It's not. It all starts from the inside of you. And that work is deep. And it's also very complex. It can also be very triggering. It can also be the best time of your life. And so what I suggest is that you really lean in, because I have done human design readings for people before in the past, and they will show up and they want to know, oh, well, how do I do it and use it in my business? How do I use it in my business? First of all, your business is a reflection of you. Your business is a reflection of you. And so how do you use human design in your business? Yes, I can tell you what you are here to do. I can tell you how you're supposed to use your energy to get it done. I can look into your human design chart and I can tell you what your message is for the collective. I can tell you what your medicine is, what you are here, what you have experienced and what you have learned and what you are here to give to the collective. We can see all of those things in your human design chart. We can see where your deepest wounds could come from. There is so much expression inside of this chart, but the first place of any type of experiment is the first level. And the first level is understanding your type, your profile, and understanding that you are not the chart. The chart is the map, okay? You are a soul being. You are once in a lifetime cosmic experience. There's nobody else like you. There's never going to be anybody else like you. You are unique. You are individual. And guess what? There are nobody else like you in this world. You can even see somebody's human design chart. If they are twins, if they are identical twins, their human design chart is going to be completely different. That is why it's so important to have your birth time, your date, where you were born, because it really is an imprint of how all the stars aligned an impression on your spirit, on your soul when you incarnated into this iteration of your existence. This is really the real purpose of this is not for you to find a place to find weakness. The purpose is for you to understand the power in understanding who you are and who you are not. So that's really what this is all about. And so many times we have this idea of who we are. We have been projected upon by society, by our family, by the collective, by religion, by education, about who we should be and how we should express ourselves, even right down to our vision about our life and how we should experience our life. We really have even a vision of how life should be in our heads, but that's in our heads. What our soul is looking to do is a totally different thing, a totally different thing. And when we take away all the things that have been put into us, and I like to think about this as a bread basket, almost like people constantly are putting things into your basket. But guess what? God made you an original. Your design was perfect when he allowed your soul to come into existence 88 days before you were born into this world. You were perfect. But then we have people and caretakers and all these people who put things in. But now it's time to start taking things out that don't belong to you. And so that's what really this is all about. Okay. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Even if you're not able to join, please feel free to still drop your comments and put hashtag questions. Then I'll know how to go back and look at the questions. Then also, if you are watching this on replay, put hashtag replay. So I will know who is here and who is somebody that has dropped in, and I need to go back and look at their questions, and I'll filter through the questions and come back and answer them later. So let's get into it. And I'm going to share my screen with you and let you take a look at a chart. Okay. So how fun is this, right? Is this not like super fun? Let me see it come up on. There we go. Okay, good. So you see that this is the chart of Jay-Z, right? And now, you know good and well I wouldn't do you dirty, right? So of course we are going to also look at Beyonce's chart as well, just because it's kind of fun to look at the charts of couples. I really like that. And I like looking at the charts of children and parents as well. And just a little tidbit for your information, your child's human design imprint actually is not a direct reflection from you. It is a reflection from their grandparents. So when people say, oh my God, you remind me of my mom or my dad, it's really true. Because if you looked at your parents' charts and your kids' charts, you will find a lot of similarities in the children's charts with their grandparents. And so you personally have a chart that is an imprint reflection of your grandparents, which I think is so super cool because, parents always say, my kid, you remind me of somebody, you remind me so much of my mom, da, da, da. And this is really true, and so let's get into this. If you have downloaded your chart from Jovi Archives, your chart may look different. It does not matter. They all have the same pieces and parts. The colors of the chart, the red and the black, may actually, the personality side of the chart, which is the right side, that says personality at the top, if you see it up here, will always be black on all charts that you pull, whether you go to My Human Design or whether you go to Jovi or whether you go to Gen Matrix, where I get my charts. But what you may see is on the design side, you may actually see where it's pink or a different color, but the personality side will always be black, okay? And people always want to know about the colors. Black personality is who you know yourself to be. That's your conscious self. That's your conscious side. This is who I am. And it's how people identify themselves. For instance, with your sign, people say, yeah, I'm a Taurus, and then you'll identify yourself with the basic ideas of what a Taurus is. A Taurus, so they're bullheaded, they're this, they're that, which is, I don't really ascribe to the generics of somebody's astrology sign, because there is so much depth to people than just to assume that because someone is a Taurus, that they're bullheaded. And something very interesting as well about a Taurus is actually a feminine sign, in case you didn't know, and the sun is a masculine sign. So there is resonance and dissonance in each of the signs. And so you will see that a Taurus actually has dissonance when it comes to the sun sign. So that's a whole nother layer of astrology that I'm learning and I'm loving and leaning into a little bit. But even when I've been doing astrology, because like I tell people all the time, I wasn't your woo-woo girl. That ain't me. I understood a little bit about astrology, but I never dug into my astrology charts. I understood what it was to be a Taurus. And, I heard people say, yeah, I would never mess with a Gemini. I'd never mess with a Scorpio, or, Tauruses are just this way. Listen, I heard all that. And I did ascribe to just the kind of notion, the generic of different signs, because it's what we hear. And again, that is what we call conditioning in human design, where we tend to lean more to ascribing to a sign and the qualities of that sign. And we also kind of start to morph ourselves that way, as if that is us, but that is not us. That is a general knowledge of a perspective that has so many other elements in it, because even when you're looking at your natal chart, you know that every single astrology phenomena or body actually has some sort of imprint on the way you were created in this iteration of your life. And let me make this a little bit more, not so esoteric, but exoteric. So to bring it down to more of a simpler term, when we talk about energy or imprinting, you have to realize and understand this in a whole nother way, that every celestial body in our cosmos pulls and has a pull on the Earth's body. If in fact the the moon can have a pull on the way even the ocean works. And when the tide goes in and the tide goes out, and we are made of 92% water, then you understand, even in that instance, the effects. And this is why people make a big deal about what type of phase the moon is in, because it does matter. It has an effect on our bodies, on the energy that we are exuding, what is showing up for us based off of all these different other aspects and coordinates of how we were created and designed. And the impression and the map that we see in human design really tells us the coordinates of each planetary on each celestial body when it was. And I say celestial bodies two reasons, because the North Node and the South Node are not planets, and nor is Chiron. And the North Node and the South Node can tell you what you are here to do and who you are today for the South Node. You need them both together. And the Chiron tells you your life after 50 and projecting forward and moving forward, okay? And all of this stuff, all of these things come into play in the expression of who you are today. And yes, that's all I want to say about that. That's all I want to say about that, because I don't want to go too far down the line into astrology, but it does come into play in your chart. And so let's just start at the beginning in dissecting this chart, okay? So when we talk about types, there are 5 types. Some people will say there are 4 types because manifesting generators are a subtype of a generator. So on your chart, you see that Miss Beyoncé Knowles is a manifesting generator, MGP. And what you are going to also see is, and so that P is pure manifesting generator. She's a pure manifesting generator. Okay. And so her profile type is 1-3 investigating martyr. And she's got a single definition. And I will explain all of that to you in just a sec. And her incarnation cross is the right ankle cross of consciousness 3. Okay. And we're going to have a little fun and play with how this shows up and how you understand Miss Beyoncé Knowles to be. Okay. Even when you see her, this, and what you are also going to be interested in is her channels. If you see here, we're going to go name, Beyoncé Knowles, date of birth, September 4th, 1981. Check it out for yourself. You can find it anywhere on the internet. She's Houston. She is 40. Her type is pure manifesting generator, which means she has no outer authority. The only authority she has, her type, is going to be sacral authority. So her profile is the 1-3. Somebody asked you what your profile is. It is going to be the half numbers. Those, each number means something. You have a number 1 to 6 on both sides, and they both mean something. One, the first number is going to be conscious, and the second number is your unconscious. So investigating martyr. The definition is single definition. That is where she has one single connection all the way through in her channels, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. And the incarnation crosses are X consciousness 3, and her channels are the 1156, the 515, and the 18, which is bananas to me. Okay, just even to be honest, you will see me look a little flabbergasted because I ain't never looked at her chart for real. I don't look up other people's chart. I look up my people's charts, right? It's interesting. I mean, she's got curiosity. Really, you have the channel of rhythm and inspiration. Those are your channels. Okay, so I feel like we can just turn it off right now. You get it. But let's take a look at Jay-Z. Okay, let's take a look at him. He is a, what are you, dude? You're a generator. He's a pure generator. Okay, GP, generator. He is interesting. His profile is a 1-3. He's an investigator martyr too, which is very interesting. Definition is split. Interesting. They got a RX, a right ankle cross of consciousness 3. I find it very interesting that she is a right ankle cross of, which is, but hers is 3 and his is 4. That's okay. Anyway, moving on. See, this stuff can get really deep. I'm gonna try and stick on track, y'all. Don't beat me too bad. Don't beat me too bad. You got to be interested. Are you not interested like I am? So anyway, he is a pure generator. Okay. And as you see, his channels are 2750 preservation. You can totally tell that in his personality type and the things that he's done for the culture. And abstraction, very interesting. Okay, so let's go back to our girl Beyonce, because that's who we are and that's what we're gonna do. Did I accidentally stop sharing my screen? Yes, I did. I didn't mean to do that. Share your screen, boo-boo. Let's go back to Beyonce. It's hiding, that's why. There you go. Whew. Did it jump up? Okay, so we are here at Beyonce. And so let me explain the different types. You have a manifester, and a manifester really is someone who would have a defined throat, and they would also have a connection to the a motor that would, or another connection that will actually light them up in that throat. And so a manifester really is here to have big ideas. They are here to express an idea. They are here to inform. And the manifesting type, they speak because of the defined throat. They speak their truth. They do not need, they are the only type that is truly here to inform the collective. They're not here to do the work. They're not here to navigate the collective. And let me explain. When we're thinking about the types, think about this as a beehive, okay? Where everyone is designed to do their jobs as the collective. That's how I like to think about the type. That's why I say you're not just your type. You're not just your profile, okay? The profile then to me goes down into almost to the very top part of why you do what you do as a part of the collective. But as a collective whole, the bee, the queen bee, projects out the message. Nobody is supposed to get to her, okay? So she has a very closed aura. She is not here to take directives or instructions from anyone else. She doesn't really need a lot of outside guidance. She makes a decision and she needs to go with the decision that she makes. Manifestors are, I think, 9%, 9 to 10% of the collective, okay, which you already can see as a collective whole. We do not need everyone, 50, 60, 80% of people with big ideas, and what we really want to do when we think about somebody is a manifester. So if you pull your kids' charts and you find somebody and you find that they are a manifester, you want to give them the ability to express themselves. A lot of manifestors have been shut down and told they talk too much, you being too much, you are too much. But that's actually what they're here to do for the collective. They're here to speak the truth and to bring forth big ideas and to inform. That's what they're here to do. And they don't need permission to do that. The thing about that, as manifestors, you do need to, once you make a decision, to inform the rest of us what it is that you're going to be doing so that we know what to do. So the idea birthed from you. Once you make a decision on the idea, you're supposed to tell us what it is that you are doing. You have generators. Generators are 70% of the population. They are the worker bees. They are the ones that are doing all the work. They're collecting the pollen and the honey, or however bees work. I don't really know if I know how bees work really when I say it now. But they are the worker bees. They comprise most of our society. You're here to do the work. You are here to respond to big ideas. You are here to respond. Understand that. And I think that the respond concept can be very difficult for generators because to respond implies that you're waiting for something to come to you. And I'm just done now. So when you are looking to respond, you can respond to many things you can respond to a TV show that's on TV and you feel a deep, I want to respond to that right there, that thing right there. You can respond to that energy that shows up. The question is whether or not it is a good use of your time, because you don't want to respond to everything. But how you will know whether or not you're supposed to respond, manifestors and manifesting generators have a defined sacral, okay? A pure manifesting generator, such as Beyoncé, which you see here is a generator who has a defined sacral. And your defined sacral is this red square down here in the middle, okay? The defined sacral is a motor center. You have 4 motors in human design. Motors, what are motors? Motors produce energy, okay? The sacral is the strongest motor. It produces consistent energy. And the only 2 types that have this are the generator and the manifesting generator. They have the energy to do the work. Hence, they are the workforce of the collective. They are here to respond. They are here to build and do big things, okay? And so when you are looking at a generator, the generator has a theme that is really here to be satisfied. They have a theme, a not self theme, which is frustration. They find themselves frustrated when they are responding or when they are doing things without responding to something on the outside of them. So if you find yourself just doing busy work, doing things because somebody else is doing it, or copying somebody else's, the way somebody else does it because you think that's supposed to work for you, but you find it hard and daunting, and why am I doing this? You find yourself frustrating or things are hard for you. That is your not self thing. It is the first thing that you can tap into, where you will understand you ain't got no business doing that at all. Frustration. Okay. I don't think I told, okay, let me jump back over to the manifestors. I don't think I said what the theme is for manifestors. If you are a manifestor, your theme is going to be, wait a minute, let me just do this to myself and start getting up in my head and forgetting what the heck I'm supposed to say. Your not self theme for a manifestor is going to be anger. Anger, because when you stop someone who has a job to inform and you cut off their creative energy to do exactly that, which is to inform, what happens with that is they will get angry. So a lot of manifestors, when you cut off their creativity and the purpose that they're here to serve as a manifestor, they find a lot of frustration in being cut off, in speaking the truth and bringing forth their ideas. I really want to say that Elon Musk is a manifester. He's here to produce big ideas, but I might be wrong, which is making me crazy because now, of course, I want to check because I'm a manifesting generator with an open head, and so now I got to fact check. But I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk is a manifester, and you can see that he's a projector. God, I want to check so bad, but I won't. Let me stay on track. So when we are talking about, let me check my notes and make sure, because I want to make sure that I stay on track. So I don't want to forget anything. Did I go? This is where I should have laid my notes out first. Oh, you don't want to forget anything. And I meant to lay my, this is what I want right here. Yes. Anybody's, I don't want to forget anybody's type. Okay. Oh, okay. So did I go, oh, did I say? Yes, okay. So for the manifester, I did their not self theme, which is anger. But for the, I'm trying to think where was I? Shoot, I always forget where I'm supposed to. And let me show you where this shows up in the chart too. Does this one might not even have it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You won't find. I don't. Well, some of them do. This one doesn't. I was going to say, do they put themes on this chart? Wait a minute. Let me see something. Nah. Okay. Shoot. They don't put themes on here. Okay. So for the manifestors, what they're really looking for is a sense of peace. And that peace comes when they literally have the ability to express themselves full out. Again, manifestors don't need anyone else's approval. They only need to be self-expressed to get those big ideas out there. That is what a manifestor is here to do. And when they're cut off and unable to get those big ideas out there, what they will find is anger. Anger will be their not self thing. So that is the manifestors. We did the generator. The generator, again, not self theme, is going to be frustration. And the where they will find a sense of satisfaction if they're really flowing in their appropriate energy. But frustration will always come up. So as a manifester, what you will see again is the anger. Now, here's what's interesting. You have the manifesting generator. A manifesting generator is considered a subtype, okay? And I don't really ascribe to that. To me, a manifesting generator is their own type within their self, but they do work more like a generator, okay? Because they have that defined sacral. The manifesting part comes in because they are here to respond like a generator. However, after they respond to something coming in, they are here to inform. I'm going to show you where this is in Beyonce's chart as a manifesting generator. She has this red down here, a defined sacral that is connected to her throat. She is here to respond and to inform, and she has a shit ton of energy as well. So that is for a manifesting generator. They are a generator type. The thing that separates them to me is that they have two not self things, which is the piece that they pick up of anger from the manifester, the not self theme, or I had another word. I was going to say the bitchy thing because I'm a manifesting generator and that's how I feel. So I do have a serious sense of anger and frustration. Like if you interrupt my creativity flow, if my kids come in, I'm trying to tell you, I'm like this. Jesus, pray for them, pray for me. Okay. So I have both of them, and we get that from the manifester. And I'm always looking for that sense of peace. I'm always looking for satisfaction. Okay. Manifester, peace, that's your top thing. That's really where you want to be. And now we get down to, who have I not done? We are next to, projectors. Projectors, they're here for success. And you know, I love projector types though. These are some of my favorites. I love manifestors and manifestor generators, but I love to play with a projector because to me, projectors fulfill me so much because as a projector, you are the managers, you are the orchestrators of the collective. So the queen bee tells everybody, shares a big idea, this is the hive, okay? The worker bees are the generators, okay? And the manifesting generators, they are the worker bees in the collective. But then you have the orchestrators who is directing everyone's energy because orchestrators are, I use quantum. That is the quantum human design perspective that I used right there because it's easier to me to understand than sometimes to use the word orchestrator. But a projector is literally here because they have a projecting aura. They are here. They can see what everybody else is supposed to do. So it's very easy for them to direct other people and guide them to what they need to be doing. So there are manager types is really what projectors are. They are really good at seeing the big picture. They are really good at understanding problems before the problem ever exists. Your projector types, you know your projector types as kids as well, because your projector types are the children that sit up at the front of the room and the teacher is like writing on the board like 2 + 2 is whatever, and before the teacher gets the sentence out of her mouth or ask anybody else, hey, can I help you? The projector child has jumped up out of his seat and blurted out the answer. But what happens with the projector types, when they blurt out the information, everybody else gets pissed off and they really can't stand them. And then their projector ends up being really bitter about the situation because nobody is acknowledging the fact of how smart they are, but they did not wait. So projectors need to wait for an invitation. That is so important for projector types. These people are super gifted in really being able to see the big picture. And that's amazing. The problem is that most people most people are not ready to receive what you putting down. And if you give it to them too soon, they'll be overloaded, they'll be frustrated or angry because you are literally projecting yourself into the work that they're doing and they're just not ready to receive it. And so for a projector, you really need to wait for the invitation, okay? And so we have manifestors. Manifestors are here to inform. We have generators. Generators are here to respond. Manifesting generators, you are here to respond and inform. Now we are talking about our projectors. Our projectors are here to wait for the invitation. Okay. Next up, we have the last one, which are our reflectors. And I love the term that quantum human design uses, which is calibrator, because our reflectors are people who have all open centers. They are very open to everybody else's energy coming in, and they are the folks that really are here to reflect back to us as the collective what we are doing also right and also wrong. So with this particular one, they are here to experience surprise. They're supposed to be surprised. And their not self theme is literally disappointment. And so you can see that in reflectors, being disappointed with how the world is. Reflectors are usually what the true empaths of the world, along with people who have open emotional solar plexus. They take on a lot of energy. They need to wait a 28-day lunar cycle for making decisions. Because they really need to clean other people's energy out of their energy. Okay. And so that is the types. And I told you about the emotional themes, which is the anger and the peace. For the manifester, we got the frustration, satisfaction. For the generators, manifesting generators are the frustration and anger. Then we got the projector, which is the bitterness and then success. And the reflectors are disappointment and surprise. And so when we talk about these emotional themes, it is the highest energy for you and the lowest energy for you. The lowest energy can tell you when you're out of energetic alignment, and the highest energy can tell you where you are absolutely in alignment with what it is that you are here to do, to create, to be. And so that is the types. Okay, let's get into the profile lines. I will do the profile lines for you, but I want to also explain to you about the centers and where the profile lines come from and what these colors are all about. So when we talk about this whole blueprint, the map of who you are, we see different colors here. And in the Black, this is who you know yourself to be. I think I said this already. So this is your conscious way of being, like being a Taurus. And this over here is your subconscious, whatever colors over here. On yours it's pink or tan, but on mine it's red if you're with Jeanette Matrix. And this is your subconscious. Okay, when you're looking at this chart, you see these shapes, and the shapes each represent the chakra system. We have evolved into a 9-center chakra system instead of the 7-center chakra system. And what you will see is that we kind of brought on some new, they actually split is what they did. What split was the G center, which is here, and the spleen. That's the split. And so we in human design talk about a 9-center design here so far, and it's the same as your chakra systems. And so I want you to really understand, and I want to give you an understanding and a definition for each one of these. And I think this is really important. Here, the very first shape that you see here is going to be the head center. The head center is what we consider, okay, I see. Yes, you want to know about the colors. Okay, so let me explain the colors first. That is a good point. When you see the colors on your human design chart, what the colors mean, it's going to be defined, definition, or undefined. So that is, and so when I think about undefined, I also call them open. So think of all of this as a bucket of water, meaning, and it's, no, think of this as an ocean, and how streams and rivers all start to tie in to get to one place, okay? The energy of the water flows to try to get to the ocean. The biggest place that all energy in human design is trying to get to is the ocean of expression, which is going to be your throat. Everything leads home to the throat. Everything wants to be expressed. So when you're looking at this graph, these lines that you see here are what we call gates. Well, the numbers are the gates, okay? So you see 64 at the top, 61, 63. These gates are actually mean something. Each one of them has their own self-expression. So the numbers are gates. The geometrical shapes are the centers. When a gate, meaning a number, is connected to another number, as in Beyonce's chart, 11 to 56, you see 11 is red, okay? That red connected to the 56 is gate 1156. And remember, I talked over here about right here, down here, my bad, channels. Channel 1156, curiosity. She has full expression in this curiosity channel. So if two gates connect, it is called a channel. She has 3 channels here. And so the expression of her 11 is in the subconscious, right? Because it's red, it's on the red side. So where's the 11? Here, you see 11 down here, second from the bottom, okay? 11 is your subconscious, is her subconscious. Then we have the 50, which as you can see is tapping into black. That line is black. It lets me know that it's going to be here on the conscious side. Is it, wait a minute, oh man. Y'all, I need to put my glasses on because that clearly is a 6. That's so sad. Anyway, I think I said 50. So there is the 6, okay? The 56, I mean, you see there? And the dot after, let's not worry about this. I'll explain that in another, because that is really getting very deep into human design, you see, but just let's worry about this main 56. I'll talk to you about the after the period another time, because it's really not relevant to our discussion at this point. So the channel Beyonce has is the 56, the 11 to 56, the 8 to the 181 channel, and then she has here the 15 to 5 channel. Now, what makes these centers, these geometrical shapes, light up, be defined, is its connection to another center. So this top green, which is the ajna, is connected to her throat through the 1156 channel. And this is what makes her light up here in these two. But then it comes on down and she's connected in the 8 and the 1, the 8-1 of inspiration. And that makes this one light up, right, into the yellow. Then she's connected again all the way through the 15-5 down here in our solar plexus. And that is channel 515, because I don't want you to get confused numbers. And this pure connection from the ajna to the throat without a break in it, all the way up through the G center, all the way down here to the solar plexus is one full channel. And so that makes her one full connection in her circuitry. That makes her a single definition. She's got, and see how all of them, all of her are connecting. It's like this single definition means she's got straight energy all the way through these centers. That is hitting off of a motor, which is the strongest motor in your body. It's this solar plexus right here, okay? I mean, not solar plexus, but which is your sacral right here, which is the red. Solar plexus is over here, okay? So that is why things are lit up the way that they are, is when there is an expression coming off of a gate. And so you have expression in that gate. So in the 40, she has an expression in the gate, and we call this a hanging gate because that gate here is not attached to the 16, which would make it a channel. So it's just like, so she has access to the gate small 48, but it doesn't flow all the way through. So it's not a complete channel, which is so cool. What is so cool about human design, each place where it is undefined, open, white, where energy can flow through, is the place where we have our deepest conditioning, meaning that there is no solid expression of energy that belongs to us. It is also our greatest place of expression, where not expression of learning, where we can actually learn. So there's nothing wrong with being open, as she is here in her head center, open in or white. So anything that's white is what we call open and undefined. Anything that has colored is defined, which is definition, which is access to that specific energy. If it is connected all the way through, there is a channel of full expression, okay? If it is open, this is where we talk about conditioning. This is where we are conditioned by society, the collective. This is where, you know, we have our greatest ability to absorb information from outside of us. But also, because we have these open spaces, we are conditioned to have an understanding, beliefs, thoughts, and ideas that are not full expressions of who we are. That doesn't mean that you're missing anything. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. One of the biggest questions I get is about, I don't have the gate of abundance, you know, in the 5522, or, you know, people are concerned that they don't have that particular gate because it's the gate of abundance. Everybody has all of the chart. There is nothing missing in this expression of you. It is only how we absorb energy in different gates and different channels or different centers. It's how we absorb other people's energy. So I don't want you to ever look at the design and think that you by some chance are incomplete. You are never incomplete. You have everything that you need to manifest. We are here to be abundant. We are created in the iteration of pure abundance. So you are never missing anything, no matter what this chart says. This chart is here so you become fully expressed. When we point out places where you have been conditioned, we point them out because then you know when things don't belong to you and you need to tap into another piece of energy that does belong to you, so that you can literally look into certain places and say, wait a minute, this doesn't belong to me. I am pulling in other expressions that don't feel good when I feel frustrated. So that's why I want you to really be clear about this. You have everything that you need. You are fully, beautifully, wonderfully made. There is nothing missing. And the openness honestly gives you a place of great learning, of exploration. My son, on the other hand, is completely defined in all of his centers. He's got some open gates, but he's defined in all of his centers except for the emotional solar plex, the solar plex, where he is highly emotional and takes on the feelings of people around him. So let's go over, now that you have an understanding of how this flow works and the energy works. This is all about flow. This is all about energy, okay? But it's never about not having. What's also really cool and interesting, I wanted to put this piece in, is that Beyoncé in this 4816, let's just use that. Somebody can complete this channel for her by having the 16. And then when she's in their energy, she has the full expression of this channel 1648. Okay, this is how we know who we can work well with in a lot of different ways, or why we work well with certain people, or why certain people could even trigger us in certain aspects. This is really interesting stuff. So if you look over here, you could also overlay and kind of see where maybe Jay-Z has some completion for Beyonce in some of his chart. They seem to be very similar, which is very interesting to me. But we won't go there, you know. And you can also see where they may have some expressions in their chart that is very similar, what makes them vibe off of each other very well as well. It's so goddamn fun to look at all of it, but let's not get off track, Missy Manual, because you're very good at getting off track. Let's talk about what these centers are all about. So the very top, the triangle pointing up, is what we consider the head center. It is the pressure to think. This is one of two pressure centers. The root down here at the very bottom, head, root, you can always remember that, right? As you can see, Beyonce has an open head because she, it had no color, it's white. So this is the pressure to think. She has an open root as well, so which is very interesting. It is a field to think through questions and doubts and confusion. The defined head center has the ability to be inspirational. When it's not going through things, it really tries to really figure out its own life. Its perspective can bring information into the world. The undefined head center is taking in everyone else's thoughts and amplifying them. So the real question is, for the open head, am I trying to answer everybody else's questions? So whenever you think about that, I have a really good chart that has really good questions about, and I'll share those with you when we're done, for each center. So if you have an open center, you can also think about these questions, and I will share them with you once I finish talking about the centers. So then you have this ajna. Some people call it an Angie, but I call it an ajna. The ajna center is how you think. A defined ajna center has a fixed and reliable way in which it processes information. It can seem and feel opinions, concepts, theories, It has a consistent way of conceptualizing things and sees information through the same pattern, which makes her, and you can see that in her when you think about Beyonce, and if you ever saw her, that show that she has on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely amazing to watch her work ethics. And if you have seen it, it's called, the one that she did at Coachella, but I don't think it's called Coachella. I forget what it's called, but it's on Netflix, and it definitely was filmed at Coachella. When you look at her and her work ethics and how she thinks and conceptualizes things, it totally makes sense. And if you have an open ajna, one of the questions you think about is, am I trying to convince everyone else and myself that I am certain? You know, and I had a hard time understanding the difference between the head and the ajna. But just remember one thing I want you to understand: you can't think your way out of anything, okay? You can't think your way to abundance. You can't think your way to wealth. Really, thoughts drop in, thoughts drop out, okay? I believe that your head center, you can be, and don't forget this as well, people can be conditioned in even your defined centers as well. However, like I said, the biggest places you are conditioned in is going to be any place that you're wide opened, which is undefined. And so what it is the pressure to really think things, pushing the thought, asking questions, you know, having doubts, confusion. So just think of that head as thoughts. And the ajna more to me is about ideas and concepts and opinions and theories, okay? And undefined ajna is under the pressure to try to hold on to a mental opinion with no fixed way of thinking about it. And so I know people say, oh, well, that made me sound like I'm a scatterbrain and da 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 da. No, you have learned a lot. You have embodied a lot. These are amazing like some people who have a defined head, they got their own thoughts, and those people can kind of be stubborn and bullheaded. They got their own thought, you know, period. So it's hard for them to open up to somebody else's aspects, somebody else's ideas, somebody else's thoughts. Same thing. I got my own opinions. They stuck hard fast to the theories, and you know, in this ajna area. But if you're open, you have an open mind. But the question is, when you're looking at these two centers, is this my idea? Is this an idea that I want to put out, that I have embodied, that belongs to me when you look at your business? Does this thought really belong to me, or did I get this from somewhere else? Why am I creating this pressure to overthink this thought or this perspective when they're open? You understand? I hope that is clear. And if you, like I said, if you have any questions, I didn't even bother waste my time looking at no comments, my bad. Oh, I'm terrible, guys. I didn't turn on no comments. Okay. So then you go down to the one below, which is going to be your throat. Remember what I said, everything leads home. If you look at these, everything is always coming right up to this throat. Okay, everything wants to go to the throat, everything wants to be self-expressed. Even if you have an open throat, you have expression. That's why I said a lot, you have something that you want to say, but sometimes it can be very difficult because you don't have a defined throat. The throat is the center of our communication. The throat is the point towards which, you know, all energy in the body is moving. You know, everything wants to be expressed. It is through the center that manifestation, metamorphosis, and transformation really takes place. The defined throat speaks in a very fixed way, with a consistent expression from whatever energy center it is connected to. Okay, as you can see, remember what I said, energy center, energy center. Look, she's connected to that sacral, and you can tell by the way that she shows up and how go hard she is. And we're going to get down to the sacral. And so an undefined throat has no consistent voice, which can cause, nervousness or a pressure to speak. The open throat wants to attract attention by expressing something or by saying that it will do something or try to manifest in order to relieve the pressure there. The open throat can speak in many voices with different ways of expressing. See, that's why it's so beautiful, because you have many ways of expressing, right? It's not always a negative connotation at all, as long as it's not trying to force it. You just don't want to force it. The open center is very wise. It has great wisdom in the way that we are learning, and nothing needs to be done, or said. Silence is really okay. It's okay to be silent unless you have something that you want to express. The open throat question is, am I trying to attract attention? Why am I really doing this? That's where you want to go with this. Okay. So the next thing down we have is your G center. The G center is the identity of the self. The center is about love, behavior, direction. The defined G center represent a fixed self that behaves in an expression of love in a very, very consistent way and is moving in a fixed trajectory in this life. It is very reliable expression of the self. Can you not feel a very reliable expression of self? When you think about Beyoncé. So the undefined G center has no fixed identity. It doesn't mean you don't have an identity. It's just not fixed, in self. And so it can come up with a lot of questions about, who am I? Does anybody love me? Am I good enough to be loved? It can be very confused because it's always changing as the environment brings a new identity. And so people with an undefined G can find themselves fluctuating depending on who they're around. In any of these open centers of expression, depending on who you are around, you can absorb their energy. That's why a lot of times, for me, I have an open head and an open ajna. I am very careful to consider whatever I am birthing, whether or not that is something that I have embodied and is a expression of me and the expression that I want to bring forth. Or was this just a great thing that I'm inspired by because of my open ajna and I'm so excited about it, but it really belongs to somebody else. I haven't embodied it. There's no expression that I need to bring forth. What has come to me as a manifesting generator where I need to respond to that thing? Is it just a great idea for someone else? Is it a great sense of magic and expression that really belongs to somebody else? But I can take on a lot of ideas, embody them, collapse them down into my own thing. And once I've embodied them, then I am open and free to inform and give that to the collective in a condensed way. So there's beauty in every sense of this chart. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, if you have any questions, please drop them down as we get further into this. And so where was I on my notes? Did I do the G center? Yes. And so the G center is, am I looking for love and direction if it is open? If it's open, that is always a question, like seeking out love, seeking out identity, seeking out a sense of direction. Sometimes people with an open G center can find themselves questioning their own identity. If they're loved, it can bring on a sense of insecurity because of not understanding who one is and always striving to understand who one is, okay? And so the next center we have, I'm gonna go down to the right of this G is what we call the ego. Now you're gonna hear this in several different ways. Somebody will call this the ego, the will, or the heart. So you know where your heart is. It's actually over, to the right or the left. No, I forget. Hold on. I think it's on the right. Anyhow, just think about your ego, heart, will is over here. And so when we think about your ego, it is the center that is all about your willpower. This is where the will to do something or not expressed as energy. A defined ego can make commitments and promises that are healthy for it, and they really do stick to it. It can feel rather stubborn if it isn't able to stick to the commitment it makes. These are people who are very sure about what they want to do, okay? And it is really pure willpower here in this ego center. The undefined ego is always under the pressure to prove or to improve itself. This can be expressed as a deep lack of self-worth as well. The vast majority of people have no willpower and suffer greatly because the world puts a great deal of emphasis on being able to do what you say. You know, the world pushes us to have to be defined in our identity. And you said you were going to do this, you said you were going to do that. And the wisdom of an open ego is to know that you are worthy and to never make promises based in will or what you or others think you should do. The ego's open center doesn't need to do that. You don't have to make promises based on anyone. This is for me, with an open will center, I have a note on my refrigerator that literally says, I don't owe anyone anything. I don't owe anyone anything. I'm going to tell you how to break that down too. Okay. And so that is the will and the ego. So let's go to the solar plexus, which is dropping down to the right. Over to the right, you have the solar plexus. Solar plexus is where all of your emotions come from, okay? The defined solar plexus is a source of emotional energy, and it works in a wave. This is interesting because this wave of the emotional solar plexus, I always call it emotional plexus. It's just the solar plexus, but I always call it the emotional solar plexus because that's how I remember it. So is also a motor. Remember, I discussed with you, there are 4 motors. This ego and will is a motor, M motor, which means it has a driving force, just like constantly pushing energy. Okay. And it makes sense if you think about it. The emotional solar plex is a motor pushing energy of the emotions. It goes in waves. If you have this center defined, you have an emotional authority. Even if you have a sacral, your emotional authority comes in first. You need to wait, emotional authority people, to make a decision. You do not just jump and make a decision based off of a gut feeling. And I'll come back to that gut feeling in just a second. But this is your solar plexus. It governs your emotional energy, and it works in waves in hopes to kind of relieve your pain. You know, it's a back and forth thing. But again, when you talk about the emotional wave, like some people talk about it all the time, I'm riding the emotional wave. And so you got to learn how to use this type of energy and how to give yourself space so you can become clear on what it is that you need and want to do. That's really what's important about this when you are defined in this solar plex, is that you need to understand how to work with this energy and not to just jump out. You are not here to act spontaneously, okay? And so it hopefully is a relief to you to understand that you are not crazy, you know, that your feelings go up and down. Like people with this solar plexus defined are always told that they are overly emotional. And to relieve all that, you're not overly emotional because you have a defined solar plexus, is that the energy comes in waves in that motor. But how you can help alleviate a lot of your own pain is do not make abrupt decisions, even if you are a generator. And we'll get over to that now. Who am I missing? Woo! We are going, honey. We are in it. We're always in it to win it, but we don't have very much longer. I'm gonna go over a couple of other things, and then I'm gonna end this because I think that too much meat becomes overkill. But I think understanding these concepts are important. You know what? And I will actually save the profile lines for another day, but I might go through them really quickly. Do I want to do that? Okay, anyway, I'll see how I feel in a second. Don't forget, I'm a manifesting generator, so I'm constantly going. Let's talk about this sacral center, okay? This sacral center is one of your 4 motor centers. It's the most powerful center that we have. It is constantly going. There is no break for somebody who is defined with this energy in the sacral. It doesn't go in waves. It doesn't have a click on, click off like your root. None of that. So the sacral center is a source of what we call life force. It is productive. It's life. It's your life sustaining energy. The defined soul. The defined sacral has the capacity to sustain work and that it creates in the world. Hence, the generator can keep up. A lot of times, people find themselves burnt out, like manifestors. Okay, you are here to inform. You do not have a defined sacral, so therefore you're not here to do consistent work. Projectors, you do not have a defined sacral. You are not here to do consistent work. You need to hire good teams. Your reflectors, you do not have a defined sacral. You do not have consistent energy. You need to rest. You need to take a break. You do not need to keep up with generators and generator types. That's why knowing your energy and understanding how energy works is so important. And to know the type that you are and how your energy is here to create in the world. Okay. The only people who have a defined sacral and consistent energy is a manifesting generator and a generator. What makes them a generator and a manifesting generator? Think about it. What does a generator do? Right? The interesting part about a defined sacral as a generator is going to be the instant ability to know whether you should respond to something or you should not respond to something. The beauty about the sacral is that it has a sound, an actual sound. You know how we tell kids don't say uh-huh and uh-uh? After you hear what I'm about to tell you, you ain't gonna tell your kids not to do that no more. The uh-huh and uh-uh is an automatic response to whether or not you have the energy or the need or the desire to do something, okay? When I say that you have consistent energy, yes, you have the energy to do the work. It doesn't mean you need to do everything because you have the energy, because you can burn out your motor, your sacral. You can burn out. Don't get that twisted, okay? And so what happens is, if you are a person that's in here and you have a defined sacral, you already know when somebody asks you a yes or no question, you say uh-huh or immediately, or you'll lean back or lean in. You have an automatic response, and you can always depend on your sacral. What messes people up who are generators and manifesting generators, and I'm not talking about your manifesting generator with an emotional authority, meaning you have a defined solar plex. If you have a defined solar plex, you can have a yes or no response. You still have that thing, and from that defined sacral, the thing about that is you are designed to wait before making any decisions. You need, because your emotions fluctuate in a wave, and so you need to wait. So you have an immediate feeling of a yes or a no. You go over to that emotional defined solar plexus of your emotions, and you need to wait. You do not need to make any decisions in the moment. Where somebody who is a pure manifesting generator, Beyoncé, pure manifesting generator, or a pure generator, has no other authority. Those people make decisions like this. They know immediately what they need to do and what needs to happen. Okay. And so if they have or which is also, you can also train your children, you can train your partners, anybody around you, to ask you a yes or no question. If you don't feel like you really don't know, or you didn't get that energy hit, ask them to ask you the question another way, because maybe they were very vague, or maybe they didn't ask you very directly, so you really can't really pick up on it. But the biggest deal with people who have this sacral authority, people who are who are here to respond, generators, is that you go up in your head, you start overthinking it, okay? And that is the biggest problem, is that we overthink things. We try to please people, okay? We try to be something that we are not. You don't need to think about this when you have a sacral authority as a pure manifestor or pure generator. If your answer is no, then it's just no. That's it. I don't need to know why. I don't need to figure out why did I say no. The body always knows, ladies and gentlemen. The body always knows, okay? It is built that way. That is what's so beautiful about who we are as people, in our design is really in our bodies. We can feel expressions. Every expression that I am talking about here, you feel in your body first. Okay, I'll let that sit and land for you as I figure out where the heck I'm supposed to go next. Sacral authority. An undefined sacral means that there is no consistent access to this energy, which is the life force energy. It's just not consistent. Many people with an undefined sacral center take in and amplify the energy around them and end up way overdoing it. That's why you have reflectors acting like generators, projectors acting like generators, like you can do it all. You can. Listen, stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. We need you manifesting. We need you manifestors, projectors, and reflectors. Do the job of the collective, okay? Manifestors are 10%, reflectors are 1%. I think my projectors are like 21%. There's so few of you. Stick to your job. Stop trying to act as if you are a generator and you can do everything. That is not what you're supposed to do. Please align your energy appropriately, folks. It is so important. That's why I wanted to dive into these centers, because it's important to understand how you are meant to work and show up in the world as a part of this collective. And this is a brief overview, because again, we have to go into the gates, but we're not going to do that here. So the next thing we have over here is going to be your spleen with gate. You see over this with 40, with your 48, 57, 44, 50. Okay, so what we really want to know here about the spleen is it's about survival. The spleen is the oldest and most primal awareness. The spleen is also completely existential. And that means that it only works in the now, like right now, okay? And that's important because the spleen is all about survival, right? So if there is a bear out there, then I need to act right now based off of my instincts. What do I need to do? It is that that where we are also referring to our intuition. This is body knowing. It runs through the lymphatic system. Hello, your whole entire lymphatic system is like the response right here in the spleen center, like little tongues and noses and ears covering all over the body. It is like, it has like cat-like senses. The defined spleen have a thick sense of well-being and can know in a moment how it needs to react in that moment to survive and to remain really, really healthy. Okay, so that is why you see people who say they are intuitively guided, because they have an instinctual knowing of what needs to be done in the right now. When people say I'm very intuitive, well, intuitive literally means that when somebody shows up in their energy, and depending on the way they need to express themselves, they have that thing that clicks in where instinctually they know what to do. They know how to make your business go, what you need to do, if they have that expression, because not everybody has the aptitude to tell you based off of their experience, based off of their knowledge, their understanding, their energy. They don't have that knowledge, so that not everybody can tell you that just because they have a defined spleen, but in some way they have the ability of deep intuition and knowing of how to work in the moment. So if you have an undefined spleen, this can feel very, very vulnerable. And often people with an undefined spleen spend a lot of time trying to fix their amplified fears. They are always hanging on whatever makes them feel more secure, regardless of whether it's healthy or not. You know, they're always trying to hang on to people, to things. it's not healthy for an undefined spleen to be spontaneous. They are not here to act in the now. The wisdom for the undefined spleen is to know that the need to feel better or more secure is not them. They are simply amplifying all the fears and insecurities that are around them in the world. The open spleen has questions of, am I holding on to what is really just not good for me? So that is the spleen. So then we get down to our fourth motor, okay, which is the root. The root. Here we go. No, I'm sorry. I said that wrong, y'all. Forgive me. So the root is a pressure center. My bad. Pressure center, not because you got two pressure centers, the head and the root. Okay. And so the root center is about adrenal pressure. It is one of the two pressure centers with the head. The root center has the pressure to move energy through the body, to fuel action. The defined root people are under constant and consistent pressure to do. They got to do. You know the defined root center, the one who's always pressuring you to be on time. Them the people. Them the ones. Okay. So here in this, in this defined root, it is also healthy energy as long as it is entered into and used correctly. It can also be healthy for the defined root to release pressure through activities such as exercise. Have you ever noticed that people would define? No, you probably don't. For those people who are consistently on time, they use the defined root. They also use like to exercise a lot. So anyway, I'll just leave the defined root people alone. The undefined root is dealing with amplification of this adrenal stress that comes into the body as a physical pressure to be in a hurry, to rush, because they always wait in the last minute. A lot of people with open roots are huge procrastinators. The undefined root can be constantly hijacked by the pressure of like modern day life. Really, people with an undefined root really need to be on their own time schedule. These are the people who are best to be left to do things in their own timing. I know that's really messed up for people who got kids who don't clean up their room, and they really annoy your soul because they don't do things in your own time. But really, that is kind of hijacking them. They really need that time to get into their body, to become aware of what it is that they need to do so they don't feel that type of pressure. Really, somebody with an undefined root is really good to just give them a head start, to really give them plenty of time and plenty of space to do things, as opposed to putting a lot of pressure on them to make a move. The wisdom here is really to know that this is not their energy and there is no need to rush. It is okay to feel the pressure and just kind of let it be. So if you feel a lot of pressure to hurry up, to make things happen with an open root, it is okay. It's really okay not to feel that kind of pressure. So I'm in a hurry, I have to get things done, you know, and feeling all this pressure, that is really not the energy that you want to have here with an open root, okay? And so when you see these centers, this is also telling you a lot about how your energy works in the world, you know, and you can see it even in Beyonce's chart here. But let me give you some questions for contemplation. If you have an open head, whose inspiration is this? I got this, and this is Karen Curry Parker. I got this little shortcut from her. So if you have an open head, whose inspiration is this? If you have an open ajna, okay, I'll just point to them. Whose beliefs are these? If you have an open throat, what am I doing for attention? Okay, if you have an open G, your identity, who am I? These are the questions, you know, that these centers ask. An open will, ego, or heart, will. What am I worthy of receiving? An open sacral, am I sustaining my energy? An open solar plex, emotional solar plex, is my baseline frequency abundance? Yes, that's juicy, right? Is my baseline frequency abundance? Because abundance is this is why I tell everybody is here to be abundant, to have more than enough. Abundance isn't just about money. Abundance isn't just about things, but you're here to be abundant in your emotional expression of self. You are here to be abundant in any type of way that you can express that abundance. Abundant with family, friends, with resources, with internal abundance of loving oneself, of being more than enough. You are here to be abundant. That is a pure expression for God for you in any area of your life. You are here to be abundant. I want you to know that. And the pressure of the root center is, am I under pressure? Okay. And then the spleen, I think you guys remember your oldest center. It is the center of survival. The root is also of tribal energy as well. And so when you look at the spleen, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of that's holding me back? Okay. And so that is the energy of the centers, how energy flows through, and how you can use your centers and your energy and what you have the energy for. Okay. So to recap, we did a lot. It's juicy, but we did do a whole lot. Do I feel like I want to go over the profile lines? Which, just so you'll know, the profile is going to be the fraction here. And the fraction of the profile lines, the 1 is over here in the conscious or personality. Do you see? It's the 1 here. And then the 3 is going to be the unconscious, which is over here. And this is the sun, in case, oh, did I explain? I feel like I did. So these, if you do not know, are the astrological signs up and down here, okay? And that is going to be my alarm to start me to remember that I need to wrap this up. Let me look at my notes and see if there's anything else that I feel like I can do. Well, I can. So okay, I am going to try to do the profile lines in less than explain it, because I think that people get the profile lines a little confused, because I think the word martyr can be kind of heavy. Okay. And so, you know what? I'm gonna just read. I will go over, let me just go over the profile line so you'll know what the basis of the profile lines are. I will go over them in more specifics at another time. But when we are talking about profile lines, they are 1 through 6 in the conscious or personality side of you. They go 1 through 6 because you see these right here. The after the period. Remember, I told you I'd tell you about after the and a number to be a decimal point. Okay, after the decimal point. Did you see me go into my head and overthink with my open head, right? Okay, so after the decimal point is really all about the profile lines. That's why I said, yeah, it's a little deep to even try to go into that. And so here, what you are going to see in these profile lines are going to be 1 through 6. That's why you see 64-1, 64-3. So 1, and all of them after the profile line, none of them go as far as 6. Okay, then that would be the first number in your profile. Okay, what you are conscious of. Subconscious underneath the line is going to be the number 3. You see it in her sun? You see that? That 3 is going to be the subconscious under the line, right? Which she doesn't know. And so each one of them have a meaning, and 1 is going to be investigator, 2 is hermit, 3 is martyr. Then you have the opportunist, which is 4, 5 is heretic, and 6 is a role model. Okay, so my 6'3" profile line, which would be 6, on the 6, I am a role model, 3 martyr, which is my subconscious. So that's where we actually get the numbers for your profile here. Okay, and again, they are in your sun. When you look at your incarnation cross, the numbers, just for shits and giggles, of your incarnation cross is your conscious sun, 64, your unconscious sun, 35, your conscious earth, which is going to be 63, your unconscious earth, which is 5. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to play with at this point in time. What are my notes? I just want to make sure that I gave you guys a good overview of what I was thinking. There's so much more to know to human design. I know you guys know that. There's always so much more to know. And I love this stuff. It's a lot of fun to play with human design, a lot of fun to figure things out in human design, but to play in the energy. But the most important thing I want you to understand about human design at this point is to just look at what your strategy is. Your strategy, again, is how you're meant to show up in the collective. If you are a manifester, your strategy is to inform. If you are a generator, you are here to respond. A manifesting generator is here to respond and then inform. Okay. Projector is waiting for the invitation. Reflector is reflecting back out to society, and understanding how you're supposed to be in the world, how you're supposed to show up. Start with that. Start with understanding. I'm trying to check out my notes and see if there's anything that I really feel like I'm missing. But I don't know if I don't think there is per se. I think you're good. If you have questions, like I said, just feel free to drop them in for me, and I would love to answer any questions that you have come up, and to really talk about these lines. Again, you know what I didn't tell you? That 1 through 6 is also in correlation to the I Ching. Okay, it is a transpersonal and the impersonal. So 4, 5, and 6 is transpersonal. 1, 2, and 3 is intranspersonal. And I like to talk about that. So the transpersonal lines are energies that are all about experience and relationship with others. So that's that 4, 5, and 6 lines. And then intranspersonal lines are energies that are self-focused and are all about the personal experience and understanding. So when you see, let me go back here. Again, after the decimal, in correlation with your profile, this is when we start to talk about transpersonal and interpersonal, and how we're supposed to be in our best expression of ourselves and of life. So I hope this was helpful for you. It was totally fun for me. I know that you guys have some questions about, because I know you'll see things like a small split, a triple split, and that's how the channels are divided up in the chart. I'll go deeper into channels and gates in another iteration, because I think this is a lot of information. It's powerful, it's potent, it's a lot of fun. I am always happy to, if you want to pop on and talk about your individual charts. I mean, we're in this group to play. We're in this group to have fun. And that's what I really want it to be about. I mean, every couple of days, I would be more than happy to discuss with you about whether or not of what's going on in your chart and what questions you have about your chart. If you want to send me your chart and you want me to, or actually don't send me no charts, change your mind. You can always drop your chart into the group, and then I will be more than happy to answer your questions based off of your chart. And some people really want to know about these arrows here. I don't find them very important. I'm sorry. I don't find them very important, but I will tell you that right facing is feminine and passive energy, and left facing is masculine and active energy. So if you have more right facing, you have more passive energy, left facing more masculine, more active energy. One is consistency and digestion. Two is discipline and environment. So the top red arrow is about consistency and digestion. The bottom red arrow is going to be discipline plus environment. And the top black arrow is focus and motivation. And the bottom black arrow is strategy and perspective. I don't know how important I have found these to be in the deep dives that I go into for my readings. I don't find them. And I try to lean into this part, but I really like to talk about channels. I like to talk about the individual gates, how to access energy, and what would be a good way of using energy, or talk about the deconditioning. Deconditioning is a process of understanding who you are not and what type of energy is processed in open gates and open centers, and how to slowly peel back the layers of becoming more aware of who you are here to be, as opposed to an expression of who you are not here to be, because it's always about who you are here to be. It is nothing wrong with education. It's nothing wrong with learning. It's nothing wrong with your creative expression of self. But when that energy does not serve your purpose masterfully, then it becomes an issue. We are here to we are here to do certain things. Generators are here to master themselves, to master one thing. And when I say one thing, it could be multiple things over a lifetime, but you are here for mastery. Okay, manifestors are here to be expressive, to express. Manifesting generators are here really to collapse time. When they say that that you need to pick a niche, for a manifesting generator is probably very difficult. You have a lot of different things. You are the true jack of all trades, but masters of a lot. Okay, we collapse time. That is what a manifesting generator does. That's why I love what I do, because I love to bring simplicity to this. This is just certain things. When you talk about relationships, when you talk about your business, those two things, I see where they connect in your human design chart. But I always saw it with or without the human design. I have a defined spleen. I'm very intuitive. There are things and expressions that I just understood. I have a gate I have right here, I have a gate 3254. The gate 3254 is all about nurturing and the collective. And it's not even a gate, it's a channel, my fault, because they both connect. So I have the ability to nurture the collective, and I feel that wholeheartedly in my body and my being. And when you start going down this chart and understanding how each aspect of you is an expression of you, understanding where, and it's a different iteration when you have these gates and lines in different houses or under different signs. It's a different expression. Oh, Venus, love, Mercury, communication. You know what you know, but boy, when you come into this and you understand the power of human design, this is a beast, okay? I love you so much. This was so fun for me. I hope that it was as fun for you. I don't know how long I've been talking. It probably been about 2 hours. I really probably need to have charged for this. But I love what I do. And for me, this part is basic understanding. You know, I think I'll do some things where we can also take a deeper dive into different aspects of the chart. Maybe we'll just do each individual center, because it's a lot to be said. It's a lot of expression in the defined and undefined. Maybe we'll go down the road and look at what deconditioning means, you know, and it's not about forgetting everything you know, everything that you know, but it definitely is about asking really good questions, whether or not this is my energy. If you have an open emotion, if you have an open solar plex, people with open solar plexus are very empathetic. They take on under people's energy and they express it. They amplify it. Okay. So when somebody comes into your energy with an open solar plexus, you take on their energy. And then if they're angry at a 2, you're probably angry at a 4 or 5. Okay. And so understanding how each center works and the expression of each center is so vital, so critical. Understanding the meaning and representation of each gate, but the expression of the planets on that gate, and also on the house, which means the time that it iterated in your incarnation. Powerful, powerful. And again, if somebody wants to jump in and you want me to check out your chart and give you a few pointers and use you as an example in my experiment, let me know. I'd be happy to do that for you. So again, if you are interested in me doing a human design reading for either expressions of connecting more deeply, more passionately with yourself, so that you can connect more deeply, more passionate with others, I call this your expression of love. Or if you want to really look at building your business and understanding how you're supposed to communicate, what your purpose is, what your mission is, understanding what your medicine is, and really take a deeper dive into either one of those. And I do separate them out. If you want to do the whole thing if you want to do the whole thing together, the cost is $888. If you want to do one or the other, the cost is $555, and that's for the 2 hours of the expression. And that will give you an hour and a half of me going over your chart and explaining to you where in your human design chart all of these expressions are. And it will give you also 30 days post a follow-up Voxer call where messaging, where we can really talk over any questions that you have as well. If you do both of them, I will give you Voxer for 30 days as a bonus if you decide to sign up and do both the love expression and the business one, to really tap in. I mean, this stuff is powerful, and I wish I had known it. You know, I wish I had known this stuff years ago. It has really improved my relationships with other people, my understanding that everybody is so unique and uniquely made. I mean, right down to, there has been somebody's chart that is very close to me that has in his chart, in one of his gates, it talked about being bigotry and being a bigot. And I was like, that is a weird word, you know, to talk about expression. And I will tell you, when I think about this person, he is a bigot. And that was how I felt about him. And before I ever knew human design, I'm like, you are a bigot. Oh, what is that? And so just because that is what you are and the expression of your energy, even if you are defined in that channel or that gate and you have access to that, it doesn't mean you need to be that. it means that you need to be aware that this is fixed energy within your within your map, and it is something that you can look to cultivate. That's the power of human design. So I love you. This has been a full long blast for me. Have a beautiful day. Peace.